Action fanatics, welcome to another edition of the Bulletproof podcast. I'm your host, Chris the Brain. Joining me, it is the Toyman, Chris DePetrillo.
Back again, ready to kick it with my homies tonight.
And last week we told you that Ryan Campbell wouldn't be joining us, but what we didn't tell you is that Chad Cruz is joining us.
Howdy do.
I give you that big
I know.
intro, and you come in with howdy do.
Howdy do. Howdy
Not even
do.
howdy doody. Can't even put the effort into howdy doody. It's just howdy do.
I shortened it.
Minimum effort Cruz.
Well, today's folks can't really be counted on to listen very far into the podcast, so they probably already stopped by now.
Oh, come on!
They've certainly stopped once you introduced me.
No, people have been asking for you.
Howdy do, kiss my ass.
I mean, it was the people from the IRS, but it doesn't matter. People were asking about you, Chad, and you're here. You are with us, but you know where you were recently, Chad Cruz? You went to see Superman.
I did.
We've all shared our thoughts. Myself and Toyman and Ryan.
Yeah,
we had a whole podcast about it. You can check it out in the archives if you missed it. But what did you think? And did you? I would assume you took your son. Did you take did the whole family go?
No, I just took my my son just turned 11, so he and I went. It was very, very good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, it was, I think Brandon, you and I shared a text or two about it, a non-spoilery text.
Right.
And it was, exactly what it should have been. It was kind of lighthearted. It was hopeful, and it had, it wasn't an origin story.
Right.
We don't need an origin story. It's freaking Superman.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the growth story. I think that's what it felt like to me. It was like Superman, he's not quite like sure of himself. He's not sure of his place. He thinks he's something. And then, so the story arc is really about the journey of Clark becoming Superman by the end of the film. And I think it did a really, really good job. And I think that Lex was fantastic. I think he was evil. He was menacing. He was a dickhead. He was great. He was bald. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You had some good villainous fight scenes. It wasn't just, it wasn't just him punching robots and shit. So it was great. I enjoyed it a lot. It was fun. I just worry because I think it's going to be 2030 by the time we get another one.
Right. There's a lot on the docket, and Superman 2 doesn't seem to be among them.
No, it sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it just takes so long to make a film.
Right.
It was good to see old Cleveland in a lot of shots and a lot of the film. So it was cool. It was fun to do.
Yeah, it was a Superman night at the Guardians game as we record this. Cool. I was not in attendance, but my parents were, so I think I'm getting like a Meteorites t-shirt and a Superman bobblehead.
That's sweet. Now, would your parents, Brain, would they tell you, had they sent you to another planet, would they tell you to rule the planet? Or would they?
They would probably tell me to help the people.
Oh, God, that's so lame.
They would tell you to start a podcast.
Maybe
waste
maybe
most
that
of your time.
Try to entertain the people. Maybe that's what they would have told.
Entertain the masses.
Well, masses might be a bit of an exaggeration, but while we're talking superheroes, we got to mention bulletproofaction.com. We ended last week with a fantastic double feature because Ryan Campbell covered the brand new Fantastic Four movie, but Chris, you took us back a bit with a movie that really never got released officially.
Yeah, I blew the dust off the original Fantastic Four film made by Roger Corman. That is a name that should be familiar to any of our regular listeners. We have sung his praises quite a bit and cracked on some of his other offerings at times, but I have always sung the praises of the 1994 Fantastic Four film Even being a low budget film, I always thought that you could feel kind of the heart and the effort that was put into it. So I decided to share my thoughts on No Surrender Cinema. So please go back and read that. And as I mentioned in the article, if you are interested in that film, which is available on YouTube and Dailymotion, there is an authorized documentary that was made talking about the trials and tribulations of that. It's a great supplemental piece. It's called Doomed. It's on Tubi right now, and it's on YouTube as well. So if you are interested in what went into the original Fantastic Four film, check out my article and check those out online.
Very good. And tomorrow, as this drops on bulletproofaction.com, I will be paying tribute to Lauren Avedon for his birthday and a tribute as well to No Retreat, No Surrender 2. And then you know what comes up on Friday. It's August. It's time. It's Actionversary. And it will all kick off with a brand new edition of The World's Most Dangerous. So check that out as well. Bulletproofaction.com. We are heading Chad Cruz to the 11th anniversary.
Dear God Almighty, please stop us.
Please
stop. Please stop, Brain.
It can't be stopped. It can't be stopped. All right, folks. This podcast can't be stopped either because we are talking about a movie I have not seen in many, many years. Kickboxer 3, The Art of War. Kickboxer 2 is one of our most listened to podcasts. So I'm very interested to see, is it just that one? Or did people just love these Kickboxer sequels? We're going to find out. This is kind of a experiment in real time. But Kickboxer 3, Chad Cruz, when do you remember first seeing this? Was it a cable thing? Did you rent it?
It was most likely a rental. I didn't have cable as a kid, so everything was a rental or like a borrow from somebody.
Right.
So this was definitely a rental, but I spent so much time at the rental shop. Like that was like my sanctuary. Like I would just go there. You could just show me like cover art or something. I'm like, okay, I already know who directed that and who was in it, what year it was made, all that stuff. But this is one of those movies, because I think I talked about this during the Kickboxer 2 podcast is Sasha Mitchell and I didn't see eye to eye right away because, Kickboxer, the original Kickboxer is so dear to me.
Right.
That Kickboxer 2, it was a tough sell, because there was no JCVD. And so I don't remember rushing out to get Kickboxer 3. Okay. But it's also been many, many years since I've seen it. So this was interesting.
Yeah, I definitely know this was a rental for me because I did enjoy, and I was kind of like you. I was like, what the hell? How are they doing this without Van Damme? But I enjoyed too. So when 3 came out, it was a no-brainer to rent. Chris, what are your early memories of when you saw this first?
I believe this was a cable watch. I don't think this got rented, or at least if it was rented by my cousin, I was not there when he originally rented it, but I did see it very early on. And, I have talked about how I really love Kickboxer 2. I would even slightly favor that one over the JCVD original. We've had that discussion before. This one definitely takes the series into some interesting places,
Right.
and it kind of sets a precedent for other films, much like the Best of the Best series, where their third film also takes the series into an entirely different direction as well.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, Chad.
It seemed like these, direct-to-video sequels, they just like they jump the shark at some point. They just go a little further each film, and then by the 4th iteration, it's like fucking fighting Martians or something. You fight neo-Nazis or Jamaican gangs or whatever it might be, and then it gets wild. You're like time travel and fight Nazis or something. It gets pretty crazy in most of these movies.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's like why today's like it's so rare to get a sequel or like a franchise in today's action movies. They're just like all these standalone movies.
Yeah.
Where back then they were like they probably could have just made this a standalone movie. It didn't have to be related to Kickboxer, but they're like, no, we've already established Kickboxer. We're just going to keep making them, and I don't, it doesn't matter if it's.
Well, our Sniper series is doing pretty well.
Right, Sniper is the exception to the rule. They're still going.
There aren't as many sequels, I think, nowadays as there used to be, and I don't know if streaming is to blame or if it's to thank, because there were a lot of bad sequels back then too.
That's true. That's true.
Well, you know what? I mean, going back to what you were just saying about, the series and the franchises and stuff like that, there always was something to, hey, we've got this script, let's slap the name on it. I mean, the most infamous example around these parts is what they did with Black Belt 2. But I mean, even looking at non-action films, like I know that there's Meatballs 4 has Corey Feldman in it, and Corey Feldman said this was not originally conceived to be a Meatballs film. They just slapped meatballs on it, knowing that meatballs at one point was popular and it might generate more interest on the rental market and on cable. So now with streaming, you get this glut of all these films, and it really doesn't matter what the title is because you're just hoping for someone to stumble across it. Whereas if you were paying for it, if you were renting it, or if you were
Right.
subscribing to HBO or Showtime, you might be like, oh, there's a kickboxer. Oh, there's a meatballs. Oh, there's a black belt. Now you could call the movie whatever. Like, for this one, if you just called it, Art of War or, Island Fighter, like, whatever you want to call it, people might be like, oh, okay, all right, Sasha Mitchell, I know him. Yeah, all right, yeah, I'll check it out. And it wouldn't matter if it had Kickboxer before or after it on the title.
This one currently streaming on Tubi. I actually dusted off the old DVD, and I always love this little oddity because on the DVD menu of the Artisan Entertainment release is a picture of Michael Worth
Oh, okay.
for no
I
apparent
have the
reason.
DVD and I don't remember that.
Yep. Check the menu. It's Michael Worth,
Big Mike.
I'll have to go dust my copy off.
front and center.
Do you think if you sent him like a screenshot of that, like a printed copy, he would sign it and return it to you?
Maybe,
Self-addressed stamped envelope.
maybe if I drove it to him and
Handed it to him with
was
a
right
marker?
there, and then we could cut out the whole post office part. I bet you I'd do real well for myself. He'd be a very nice gentleman. So yeah, let's get into the movie. We get the opening credits. We see a scene of the jungle, and then there's screams, and it's like, what's going on? And then we see this young girl. She's running. She's got blood on her dress. She's got blood on her person. She's running. There's a guy with a knife chasing her, which is a good reason to run, I would say, Chad.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she's. I was kind of. I'm like watching. I'm watching her boobs. She's got no bra on.
Chad.
It's just what I do. I'm sorry.
Waste
That's what
any time.
they had. They had me immediately. There was like a scream. I'm like, okay, Predator. What am I watching again? Kickboxer 3. Okay, chick running, boobs bounce. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I'm already transfixed a bit. She's running. She's covered in blood. This is different. Weirdo guy running with like a machete behind her.
Right.
Okay. Now I don't remember any of this film.
Right.
And I realized at that point I had no clue what I was watching.
And then we cut to the introduction of who will be our main villain, Frank Lane, who's schmoozing with his clients who are all sitting with these young girls. And obviously, this seems like it's some sort of perhaps brothel type situation, maybe not. But yeah, Frank Lane, not to be confused with Frankie Lane, the wrestler, or the guy who sang Mule Train. Neither of those. But yeah, Frank's right-hand man, Pete, is like, hey, we got a big problem. And the big problem is the girl trying to run away with the machete guy chasing her. But they catch her. They throw her in this room with a bunch of other young girls. And here we find, kind of Frank's thinking. Like he's like, I'm feeding you. I'm giving you a home. I'm like your father. What's the problem? Why would you try to escape from this life I'm giving you? Then he's like, what happens when we're bad? And he straight up shoots this girl in front of all her coworkers. Obviously, Chad Cruz sending a message.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess there's no better way to send a message than to just literally murder someone in front of everyone else. Now, Frank's, he's a terrible guy, but he appears to be a smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's very wealthy and he's done well in this area, but it seems like a bad investment, one that you kill, one that you shoot and kill.
Yeah.
So But I get it. The message is sent, I think.
I would say I doubt any of the other girls in that room are thinking about running anymore, if they were to begin with.
But his bodyguard dude's name's Pete. I never caught that.
Just
Ugh,
Pete. Yeah. You
that's
don't like
bad.
that? You don't like
No,
Pete? He's
gotta,
the right hand man, Pete.
I know, but you got to do something better than Pete. I mean, Pete and Frank.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Okay. Well, I didn't write this, so we're just reporting what we watched. Chris, it's time to be reintroduced to our heroes. They're on a plane, and how would you describe Sasha Mitchell's wardrobe?
Very 90s hip hop ish. And is it me, or does he feel a little less David Sloan and a little more Cody from Step by Step this time around? He's kind of putting on a little bit more of that surfer dude mentality that made him famous on the sitcom, as opposed to being the very zen like, he kind of had that surfer zen thing going on in Kickboxer too. This one is kind of like, you don't like flying? Whoa. Like, veering into like that Pauly Shore-ish territory.
Yeah, it was definitely like I always it was like the Super Mario overalls that he had on. But yeah, Zen
Oh, touche.
doesn't like to fly. Dennis Chan is back for both of them reprising the roles from part two, but of course Dennis Chan was also in the JCVD original. They have been flown into Rio because there's a big championship fight. We then cut to a kind of empty stretch of beach where we see the dead girl washed up on it, and that's the last we see of her. I'm sure it smelled real nice after a few days. And then we see David and Xian walking on the beach. Now David is not in his red overalls, so he obviously changed.
Stopped at the hotel to change.
And Xian's like, "Hey, that fight's in 7 days. We should be training." But David's kind of enjoying the sights and sounds of Rio. Chad Cruz.
He is indeed, and the one that jumps out to me, and it'll jump out to any action movie fan at all, is he sees a group of capoeiristas playing a little capoeira right on the beach. Man, it's fucking awesome. Doing the song that was made famous by the film Only the Strong.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a little Paranauê.
Oh yeah.
Just beautiful. You know what I mean? It's cool to see. And Xian's kind of talking him through like, oh, this is capoeira. And that's, he was giving him a little history about it. It's very neat. You know what I mean? Like, and wouldn't it have been great to see our boy just sitting back there in his camo pants doing it with him.
A little crossover.
Yeah, dude, crossovers. Love it. Now, I will kind of mention this real quick is, this whole film takes place within 7 days.
It's true.
It feels like 3 months.
Okay. that may come back to in your final thoughts. We'll find out. Yeah. So they stop for some lunch, and that's where a pair of siblings, Marcos and Isabella, kind of run a little scam on poor David and Xian, as Isabella's trying to sell some stuff to David. His back is turned, and Marcos runs off with their camera, that little bastard, which leads to a foot chase through the streets of Rio. And David ends up doing a little street fighting when it gets into like an alley. So we get the little David in action there. And then Marcos has a freaking switchblade, Chad Cruz. This kid's he's a ruffian.
Oh, he's a hoodlum, you know what I mean? You got to have a blade on you.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're living on the streets of Rio, Brazil's a pretty fucked up place, right? And this kid's living on the streets with his sister. He's got to protect his sister. Right. He's got to feed himself. He's got to feed his sister. I mean, the fact that he only has one knife is the surprise here, and not several. I like to swallow a knife, and then I just regurgitate it when in need.
Oh, that seems painful. No.
It's painful, but you know what? What's scarier than watching a man puke up a knife in front of you, right?
Right, yeah.
Could you imagine Scott Adkins doing that in his next film?
Maybe Prisoner of War. That's coming up in September.
Yeah, that could be perfect for it.
Could happen. So David does end up getting the knife from Marcos and tells him he needs to work on his attitude. And then he goes back to finish his lunch, but Marcos isn't far behind. He's like, hey, give me my knife back. I need it. And this is now starts a bit of a friendship because they're like, hey, know what you do need. You need some freaking lunch. So why don't you and your sister sit down, have some lunch? What I found odd, Chris, was they have lunch, and then David is already wanting more food, and he almost eats some very odd barbecue.
Yeah, well, I mean, he exerted some of that energy in
That's
that
true.
street fight with the two guys that were, I guess like stepping in for Marcos or whatever. And yeah, we're in Brazil, but we get kind of like a racially tinged Asian joke about cat barbecue.
Yeah, I mean, if I guess if there's a lot of stray cats running around Chad Cruz, it makes sense to do something with them.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Adopt them as cats? No,
Right? No, you don't want that.
you eat them.
Sure.
It might be delicious. I don't know.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'll find out. And at that point, that's where Marcos kind of gets the light bulb moment. And he's like, "Hey, I can be your kind of like your tour guide. I'll show you where to go, what not to do, what to do. I know these streets better than anybody."
And
Okay,
I've got a knife.
and I got a knife. Yeah. So they get to the hotel. It's like, you know what? That's a good idea. You meet us here in the morning, and that lovable scamp Marco steals the camera again.
The little son of a bitch. Who do you like better, Marcos or the kid from American Ninja 2?
Oh. I think American Ninja 2 Kid had a better business model
I agree.
for sure.
And no sister.
Yeah, he only had to worry
muck
about
up the
himself.
waters.
Right.
Yeah. And he could drive.
He sure could.
That's pretty helpful in a pinch.
He's good. So yeah, we find out that Marcos and Isabella live with like a bunch of other street kids in this what was supposed to be a hotel, and it's just kind of a partially built structure, but it's I guess better than nothing. So the next day they do get to the hotel, and they're going to be guests of David and Xian as they're going to this charity event which will feature some kickboxing action to raise money for the homeless. And ironically, Chris, when the woman in charge sees actual homeless kids, she seems completely disgusted.
Yeah, we're too upscale. We don't want these peasants around. What does she say to the guy? It's like, take them away, feed them, do something with them.
Yes.
Like, just like get them out of here, get them out of sight. Like, we don't want to, put our worst foot forward in front of all of these high priced clientele here.
And then a moment that you may be able to appreciate Chad Cruz because we get we're now in the locker room. David's getting ready to do his exhibition, and a local fighter comes in, Miguel Machado, and very respectful. Always good when you're in a locker room environment and you're maybe the rookie. Be respectful to the veterans.
Right. The combat arts. I don't care if you're a judo practitioner, or jiu-jitsu, or a wrestler, or anything really. There's respect is kind of paramount to that to that way of life. And Miguel Machado, he approaches David with the utmost of respect, and he asks him, my corner man couldn't be here. Would you do me the honor of being in my corner? And David. You say what you will about David's, the way he kind of approaches life in general and talks to people and stuff, but he would never let Miguel down. Like, he's going to work his corner. He's going to do the best of his ability, because he's that kind of guy. That's just what he does.
Yeah, he's a good man. At this point now, Isabella and Marcos are sitting in the front row getting ready to see their new buddy David in action, but so is Mr. Frank Lane, who is eyeing up Isabella.
We know how that's going to go.
Yeah, not
plot point, foreshadowing.
So David does his thing, and then, as promised, he's cornered for Miguel Machado, who, interestingly enough, coincidentally enough, is taking on David's challenger for the big championship fight, Eric Martine, played by the one and only Ian Jacklin. I don't know that we've ever talked about Ian Jacklin. Or no, we did do Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire too.
That's right. I knew we did a Ring of Fire. It was number 2. So that was probably one of his biggest roles too, was Ring of Fire 2.
Yeah.
So we get to see Martine, who is super aggressive, and that eventually causes David to be like, "What? This is an exhibition." He gets in the ring because he's bloodied Machado, Chad Cruz. He is.
Oh,
This is like a freaking pro wrestling angle right here. And it's
yeah.
very well done.
He's a rabid
And you know what?
dog in there.
It's a nice bit of continuity because look what happened in Kickboxer 2 to Vince Murdocco with Tong Po.
Mm-hmm.
David was in his corner or watching the fight. He's like, come on, like, you can't take this guy on. And Vince Murdocco didn't listen and, got his ass killed. So it's almost like David might kind of feel that regret. And it's like, I got to step in before this goes too far again.
Very true.
It's also great to see, we know Martine is going to play a bigger role here since he's going to be facing David later. But it's good to see how violent and how, how much he can mess somebody up. Like he's the real deal. You know what I mean? So Machado, he's young, he's upstart, whatever. But Martine fucks him up pretty good.
And again, this is another like message sent. Like, look what I'm doing to this guy, trying to get in the head of David Sloan.
And Martine, Ian Jacklin's also playing him kind of like, to make another wrestling comparison, he's kind of playing him like a monster heel. Like he's kind of growling and like, like, basically, I'm this crazy guy. I'm like, this crazy aggressive guy. It's not like, I'm going to break you. I'm going to destroy you. Like he's just getting in there and just kicking ass.
And David jumps in and trades blows with him, which is great. And you know what I actually appreciate more as I've gotten older is that Sasha Mitchell as David Sloan, he actually like fights like a kickboxer would fight. He's not like fucking throwing big spinning kicks like Van Damme did in the first movie. As much as I'll never not love the first movie, and it'll never not be my favorite kickboxer film. But David Sloan looks like a dude who's trained as a kickboxing champion. You know what I mean?
You can't show off your ass cheeks with just little kicks.
You should have just stop there.
You need big roundhouse kicks to really get that little loincloth to flap up.
The thong to shoot up your ass crack.
Right, you need that.
It's true.
So Xian gets in there, calms David down. Again, this is perfect. This would be like, this is the Raw before the pay-per-view, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, let's see this thing. So afterwards, though, Frank Lane, who happens to be the manager of Martine, approaches David and it's like, hey, Martine's a great guy outside the ring, but man, he gets in those ropes and he just becomes an animal. So my apologies to you, but hey, you know what? Why don't you come over to my place tomorrow night? I'm throwing a party.
Hell yeah.
And I go, you know what? Bring all your friends with you. And again, giving the eyeball to Isabella. Then, Chad Cruz, we find out an interesting story about Marcos and Isabella's dad and a sausage.
Yeah. It's an odd story. The dad is in prison for stealing a sausage, is how Marcos puts it. And there's a bit more to the story. He robbed a bank to pay for the sausage, and then he was apprehended while he was trying to pay for the sausage. But so, is it really the sausage? Is it because of the sausage? Maybe.
It sounds more.
Did he use the sausage to rob the bank?
He stole a sausage, didn't have the money to pay for it, robbed a bank in order to get money to pay for the sausage, returned to pay for the sausage, was apprehended by the police. Now he's doing hard time.
Possibly. Wasn't that the plot of Liam Neeson's Honest Thief?
Is it really? I hope so.
No. Liam Neeson
so.
I'm just hoping
we need Liam Neeson stealing sausage.
He doesn't have to deal with any unwanted sausage in prison.
You know what I do? Oh God! I like to put smoked sausage in pretty much every meal I cook.
Okay.
Anybody else do that? Nice smoked sausage.
Give us some recipe ideas here.
Put it in your chicken Alfredo, or your instead of
the Chad Cruz cooking special coming soon to the Bulletproof podcast.
Instead of chicken Alfredo, you just do like a pasta dish,
sausage Alfredo
sauce, sausage Alfredo. Oh yeah, I throw it in my, I made some like cheesy ravioli situation tonight.
Oh yeah,
threw some sausage in it.
Nice.
Why not?
Why not?
I mean, who's going to tell me it's wrong?
Nobody.
It feels so right.
Okay. Okay. Let's.
This has been brought to you by Johnsonville sausage.
There you go. Send us the money, old Johnsonville. Or we reach dozens and on the YouTube sometimes we hit thousands. So come on, bring it.
Potentially billions.
Exactly. There's really no limit to how many people could listen to this program. Now, how many do? That's another story, but could is what we're going to stress here. So we see Isabella, she can't be, these kids got to be cleaned up if we're going to this party. So they do a little dress shopping, and Xian and Marcos are there to help and give their 2 cents. And then we cut to the party where this is quite a party. There's a live singer there. There's gambling. Obviously, they're feeding the people. And there's Frank right there to schmooze David. And tells him like Rio is like the Wild West, and a man with your brains, and I don't know where he gets that David is smart, could make a lot of money here. Do you get that David is smart, Chad Cruz? By the way,
no, I don't.
No,
I don't. But you know what? He's an internal guy. Like he isn't quick to respond to things, and that doesn't make him stupid.
No.
But he tends to make the right decision a lot of times, which, despite how he looks and talks and acts, making the right decision is what's important.
It's true.
And if you go by that, then David's a pretty bright guy.
That's true. I mean, the wise man listens when the fool speaks.
Fucking A right.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, Frank, really laying it on thick, but that gets interrupted when a woman comes over to ask David if he wants to dance. This was the same woman, Chris, that was dancing with young Marcos.
Mm.
Yeah, she's making her way around the room. I guess the guy didn't feel as threatened by the kid with the knife as he does with the professional kickboxer from America.
Right. Marcos was like the ultimate wingman here, and brings this lady over to David and Leia, like you said. Then her man comes over. He's like, oh, that's how cute. She's dancing with that kid. Wait a minute. She's going to dance with that dude? I'm going to show her who's boss. And David steps in, kicks his ass, and then Frank was like, I told you it's the Wild West up in this bitch. Okay, Frank. So Frank's loving it. I mean, he's made quite a life for himself here in Rio. He mentioned that he just came down there with $500, and now look at his empire that he's built.
Yeah, it's impressive.
So then afterwards, Isabella and Marcos go back to their not finished hotel, and they're telling all the other kids like, oh, we were at this party and all that was so cool. And then a couple guys show up and abduct Isabella. And things are about to go in a bad way for poor Isabella.
Yeah.
Marcos, yes, Chad.
Business is about to pick up.
Oh, very good. Marcos then, of course, races over to his buddies David and Xian and says what happens. They go to the police station to file a missing persons report, and the sergeant there is, like, hey, we've got all these cases. You know what? This is just another. I mean, there's a ton of kids, and it's impossible for them to find them all, or really even worry about what's happening to them because there's so much going on in Rio. And he's but you know what? Here's a bit of advice. You probably shouldn't get involved, because if these people are willing to steal a kid, what the hell they're willing to do anything. So then Marcos is like, well, you know what? I know somebody who might know what happened, because I run errands for a stripper. Named
of course he does.
Marguerite. And Xian convinces everyone that he should be the man, Chris, to go in and talk to this stripper.
Yeah, he goes and turns on some of his charm. She seems like she's got a little thing for him, but he deflects, and he's just like, I'm only here for the girl. And I've got to wonder that could Marguerite be the person that gave Marcos the switchblade, since she seems to know who the troublemakers are out there.
Could be. I don't have as much strip club experience as someone like Chad Cruz.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure, Chris, that it's their job to make it seem like they're very interested in any man that comes through that door, because that
Yes,
gets
that is
them.
how they get paid.
That's how they get paid.
Yeah.
I don't think Xian was anything special in this situation. No offense to Dennis Chan. I mean, he's a very handsome gentleman.
You're blowing my mind here, Brian. You're killing it. Because
Why?
I had all these great memories of all these
Oh,
women who loved me at strip clubs, and now you're
yeah,
just killing it. I mean, what are
yeah.
you doing, dude?
I'm sorry.
They
But
were so into me.
yeah, they wanted you to go to the champagne room and everything.
Yeah, they were just begging for it, and then now you just ruined
They
everything.
just wanted your money, Chad Cruz. I'm sorry. But, you know, it all worked out for you, so it's okay, Chad.
Sure.
Okay. But yeah, he's like, you know, she's like, here's who probably has them, but, you know, they're very naughty. Okay, shut up, Marguerite. We don't see her anymore, but they do track down this guy who's like, I don't know what he's doing, Chris. He's like getting the... they're doing some rehearsal or something. What's going on?
It looked like they were preparing for some sort of like
Was it the
a
carnival?
show, carnival,
Carnival, yes.
some
Carnival.
shit like that. Yeah, something like that. I missed a couple minutes here, I think, but it it seemed like they were rehearsing.
Yeah.
And they got the information, and then I just moved on with it. I didn't rewind it.
No, it really wasn't worth it. So yeah, they find out. Oh yeah, the name they get from this guy is Bronco. And
Now,
that, yes,
I know Chad wasn't here for this one, but Chad, if you've watched it or if you recall, didn't this guy look like the sleazy bus driver from Full Contact?
oh, you know what? I didn't think about that, but now that you say it, yeah. I'm sure Ryan Campbell would have caught that because, like, that's his favorite character in any movie. Well, other than probably Gary Robbins.
He loved the bus races.
He did. Ryan was all in on that one. Yeah, he likes that bus driver. Well, yeah, that's something to research. Did we do any of our homework from last week? I know I didn't. It's okay. Maybe we'll follow up on that on a future episode. Yes, Chad.
Can I say something quickly?
Of course.
You brought up Bus Driver, and I want to just tell everyone that there was a film that I watched several years ago. I reviewed it on the site probably back in 1997 when we first started. The movie was called Bus Driver.
Speed.
I think it was called Bus Driver.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And it was fucking awesome. I don't know who was in it. I don't know. I don't remember anything about. I just remember watching it and like sitting there with my fucking mouth open, drooling, like, holy shit, this is incredible. I couldn't believe how good it was. Now, if you read my review, you'll probably be like, he didn't think it was incredible at the time, but my memory tells me that it was great. And I don't remember anything more about it other than it was this, badass dude who ends up being a bus driver, fights off a bunch of bad guys. But seek it out, Bus Driver. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Who liked that one? I'm pretty sure anyway was Paul London, and I remember he like popped that we had covered it on the site.
No shit, I can't wait to talk to PL about it.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in on that movie. So yeah, so they get the name Bronco out of this guy, and then the cops show up and they're like, oh cool, like we just beat up all these people, but they're the ones who get arrested. Oh, so they're taken away. Here, this probably is best for me to throw it to chat. So we go back to Frank's place, and Isabella has passed her virgin exam.
Yeah,
and pays the doctor, and Frank just sees nothing but dollar signs with Isabella. But we're going to go back to the jail. David is there. He's getting some sit-ups in, Chad, making the most of his time locked up.
Yeah, you got to work on those abs. That core strength's, it's very important for the fight game.
Especially in kick. Yeah, he's got to do it. Yeah, I agree. And then the sergeant's like, shows up. It's like, you've been bailed out. And it was Frank. Because Marcos had the wherewithal to go find Frank and say, hey, these guys are in jail and you need them for your big fight. So probably in your best interest to get them the hell out of there. And then Frank's like, hey, I could give you guys a lift back to the hotel. And that's where we start finding out a little bit more about what Frank has in mind. Because he kind of floats the idea of, what if you maybe took a dive? A very well-paid dive. You might forget you even took the dive. You had so much money. And that now finally kind of divides good and evil here. Because David and Zen are not having any of that. They refer to him as sewage. And then so Frank just like, well, fuck you guys then. Stop the car. And then they kicks them out. So now they're just in the middle of the highway, having to make their way back, thumb a ride to the hotel.
And thumbing a ride in Brazil is probably not even the worst situation they found themselves in so far.
No. They could have ate cat, for God's sake.
And once again, Marcos is kind of like MVP of this whole situation because, he's how many times is he going to run around and like get another person to help that person? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if he had never gone to Frank, they might have just stayed in jail for a week, and Frank, spoiler alert, like shit goes wrong for Frank, but things would have been fine for Frank. He would have just moved on with his day. But yeah, thanks to Marcos, the story moves along.
And Marcos is about to point him in the direction of where they can get guns.
Ooh.
As Marcos grew up in a rather rough part of town and knows exactly where they can get guns. And this is where I think things really don't match up with the previous installment, Chris, because suddenly, you wouldn't think a Zen master would just be like, oh, I know all about firearms.
Yeah, we, for those thinking that the subtitle "The Art of War" was just, alluding to, the martial arts war that was going to happen or the fight against Eric Martine, no, David Sloan and Zan are actually preparing to go to war with these, sex traffickers, human traffickers, whatever you want to call them, by purchasing firearms and gearing up as if they're G.I. Joes going on this big covert ops mission.
Yeah, definitely. This is where we go into completely uncharted kickboxer waters.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they get these guns and they're like, okay, we're going to go pay this Bronco guy a visit. But meanwhile, Frank has already got an interested buyer in Isabella, willing to pay $25,000 for her.
A female buyer who's buying her for her customers. So it's almost that kind of that's very timely with some of the news that's going on out there in the world these days.
Well, David and Xian, they pull up to Bronco's house. They're going to get some answers, and they got guns if they need to strong arm. But the sergeant is there waiting, and he's like, where are you guys going? We heard there's a crazy American looking to cause Mr. Bronco some harm, and, you can't do that. And, oh, by the way, he doesn't just have us watching him. He has 7 men guarding him. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave's
like, it was a cool scene.
Yeah. So yeah, now we know. Okay, this sergeant's not just an asshole. I mean, he's kind of, he knows what's going on there, but there's only so much he can do as a cop.
Yeah.
It's kind
He's
of
still not as nice as Ed Lauder in Death Wish 3, though.
No, I was about to say, yeah. He's not just like, oh, well, he knew. Ed Lauder or Schreiker knew that Paul Kersey could get the job done. So he just was like, hey. Yeah.
Fun fact, I'm actually wearing my Death Wish 3 t-shirt right now.
Oh my. There you go. I'm wearing an Austin 316 t-shirt. Chad Cruz is nude.
I'm wearing a t-shirt that I bought in 2005.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's got some fucking holes in it, but
that's air conditioning.
It's still
once you have too many sweat stains, you just cut a hole, just air the pits out, right?
it's still in the rotation. You know what I mean? I recently rediscovered it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's going back into rotation.
Awesome.
So
Oh, was this like, are you familiar with How I Met Your Mother?
I'm familiar that it's a television show.
Okay,
I was
sorry. Well,
hoping Chad would say I didn't know you ever met my mother, but go on.
no, there's an episode early in the run. It's actually like the second or third episode where he finds like a shirt in the back of his closet and starts wearing it all the time again because he forgot about the shirt and now he loves
Yeah,
it again. And the
no, it's
whole
great.
premise is like, wait a minute, like maybe this means that the girl that I really want to be with is like a girl that I've already dated. Why am I looking for new
Ah,
girls? I should start looking at all my exes.
maybe that's what I should do.
Uh, just in case anyone is wondering, and I know I often wonder this, but my theory is that Toyman has multiple TVs on 24 hours a day at his house. So no matter what he's doing, he's catching something. Because from all the shit that he's seen, and he's done, again, he has a life. He has, he's an active member of society, but yet still has seen all this shit or has re-seen. I don't fucking know. I mean,
I think he's got one of those chairs from the Matrix, and at night he just fucking sticks that thing on his brain, and
Yeah.
he's like, and he just zaps himself full of pop culture shit.
Somehow's got 36 hours in his day every day, and I don't know how that
Pop
works.
culture is my superpower.
He's like Ben Franklin. He only like sleeps like 3 hours a day, and then he just watches
That
TV.
that legitimately does run in the family though. I mean,
Yeah.
my uncle and my father are twins. My uncle's pushing 80 and he runs that bakery from 10 o'clock at night until like 2 o'clock the next afternoon, goes home, sleeps, and he's back at it again, doing all
Phew.
the overnight, getting all the pizza dough and the bread
Good
and
for
everything
him.
prepared so that everything's fresh for the next day.
Man.
So that it is very, very common for DePetrillos to get by on minimal sleep. So you are actually correct with that assessment.
Uh, oh yeah, where were we? Oh, David and Xian. They're like, okay, we understand,
The art
Sergeant.
of war.
We'll
Kill
we'll
everyone.
we'll go. Hopefully, you don't find that crazy American, huh? But then they go by foot. They drive down the road a bit, and then they park and they go by foot. And they get inside. They infiltrate the Bronco estate, and they instantly take out one of these 7 guards. David gets in the house, gets into the kitchen, asks the chef, "Hey, where's Bronco?" The chef doesn't speak English, so he's just rattling stuff off.
Panicking, yeah.
Portuguese.
Portuguese, that's correct. Then 2 more guards show up on either side of the kitchen and just start shooting up the place, which seems like maybe their employer would not appreciate his kitchen getting shot up, but he's got a lot of money, so maybe they don't mind.
Yeah, that nice pan of boiling water gets 2 holes shot in it. You see the
Right.
water leaking out of it.
What a shame.
But David takes them out, so now we're at 3. David kicks down a door. There's 4, kills that guy inside there. David has to jump out a window before a guy shoots him. But Xian's there to shoot that guy, so we're at 5. Then they go, okay, let's go upstairs. Here comes a guard on the stairs. They shoot him. That's 6. We got 1 to go. And the 7th guard gets the big death, Chad.
Oh yeah. I mean, you guys know this, and I've talked about it before on several podcasts, and really what, some people have a bucket list in life, and I do have one as well, I think, but in my bucket, on my list, there's the font is very large on one of the items in that list, while the others are much smaller. And that item that's in that list is, I would just love to be kicked and or thrown through a window to my death in an action film. I think I think I was kind of born for that. I think I've got the makeup for it. I think I've got every attribute that a person would need to be thrown through a window and to die on screen. I've got it. You know what I mean? Anyone who's wondering if I physically have the attributes, I do. Okay, trust me when I tell you this. Look me up, bro.
A defenestration infatuation is what Chad Cruz has.
That'll be the name of my second album.
Okay, very good. Can't wait to hear it. So then they find Bronco and his wife. They're in hiding, and they pull him out to the balcony because there's
Was
better light there, I guess. I don't know.
was she the one that was trying to buy the girl?
I don't think so.
Okay, I thought she was initially, but
Yeah, I don't.
I could be wrong.
I don't think she is, but yeah, I don't know that would make. I mean, she's in on it, but not. She's like no, because she was like, she does. That would be the dirty work, I would think, and she's like
Right, you're
very
probably right.
specific, where she's like, because they're like, your husband's a pimp, and she's like, no, he just finances the pimp. The guy who does the dirty work is Frank Lane.
That's how she
Mm.
rationalizes it.
Right. And then we've seen that many times with like mafia wives and stuff. Like they know
Right.
that their husbands are doing some shit, but they also know they got all the whatever they want. So it's like
Right.
just
Now,
look the other way.
David and Xian they got a name and they immediately went and killed a bunch of people.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of investigation there to see if this was
it could have been
proper.
right. It could have been like they could have been killing 7 innocent people, just guys
They could have
doing
been.
their job.
Yeah.
And again, how easy it was for them to just like,
Yeah. Art of war, dog.
That's right. Sun Tzu, full contact. Yeah, so next up, all right. That motherfucker Frank, we should have known he was behind all this. So they go, David
He's
sneaks up.
sewage.
Yeah, David sneaks up on Frank. Frank's just sitting on his couch reading something. Possibly a Chad Cruz review from 1997 when it was in a print form.
Yes.
Although this took place in 1993, so I don't know how that fuck is even possible. Doesn't really matter. And he's like, I've been waiting for you, David. And then you can have Isabella dead or alive. It's up to you. And then next thing you know, there's Chad's favorite character, Pete. And, David finds that he is soon outgunned. And Xian's like, put the gun down, David. Okay. And they're locked up. Because what mansion doesn't have like a little holding room for people?
Oh, you gotta have one.
Yeah.
I've got one in my basement.
Is that where you're sitting right now? Did your wife put you in there?
No, that in my basement there's we've talked about the holding room and the other.
That's right. That's Maybe we should say less. Okay. So yeah, they're locked up, and then the next morning they're summoned to see Frank, who's just chilling on the beach. And it's like, David, as long as you show up for the fight, you can have Isabella. And he's like, I'm not expecting you to throw the fight anymore, but I want to make sure you're in good shape, so I've got some extra training. So obviously, Chad, he's hoping to physically break David down, so he just has nothing left by the time he gets to the fight.
Right.
So he's like, all right, you're not going to throw it? Well, I'll put the odds in my favor, because he's got him doing some crazy ass shit, like the backpack full of rocks.
Yeah, backpack full of rocks, just like running up a mountain and shit.
Showdown style.
Showdown style. Oh yeah. He's just like swimming. They take him out in the middle of the fucking ocean and just dump him off.
So swim home.
Make him swim back to shore.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of things to make him dig a giant fucking hole and then fill it back in.
Yeah.
It's just a lot, you know what I mean? They're trying to break down that body. But what they don't realize is David isn't here alone. He's here with Xian. And Xian has trained not only his body, but he's trained his mind.
Right.
And sometimes the body and mind don't always travel together.
Very wise words. And while all that's going on, Martine is just doing the traditional type training. He's sparring. And Frank's there making a big bet on his boy. So, and he's more confident because he knows what's happening back at his place with David being put through his paces.
And who is it that's overseeing David's training?
Your boy Pete.
I'm going to call him Armando.
Okay. You don't like Pete?
Yeah.
And during one of these, Xian kind of is like, Frank, why do you freaking pimp out children? And again, Frank, like a great villain should, believes he's in the right here. Like he's doing good.
He's their savior. Right.
Like otherwise they'd just be living on the streets, probably dead by now. I'm giving them a chance to live. And then Xian says, everything we do comes back to us. Or as good old JR would say, you reap what you sow, motherfucker. All right.
Oh my.
So well, yeah, we get the water skiing as well without water skis, and then that's the last of the challenges. Then he's like, okay, take these guys back to the hotel. And then Xian tells David, you need time to rest and heal. And then Xian and Marcos like go on a bit of a scavenger hunt, Chad Cruz.
Yeah, they're looking for different items that Xian's got a long history of medicinal shit with herbs and whatnot, and he's like picking leaves and he's mixing things and he's concocting some shit, and he's like rubbing mud or I don't know monkey shit or something on David, and he's giving him a drink and he's giving him a roofie so he'll fall asleep. But yeah, he's helping him with that not recovering. He's already tried to train his mind there during this whole lead up to the fight, but now he's trying to fix his body.
And then Frank makes another big bet, this time with Senior Vargas. Is like, hey, why don't you put up your estate?
Snap.
Okay, I'll do it. So now, I mean, it's all on the line for Frank, Chris. Everything's riding on this fight, this one huge championship fight.
And then we get there, and the first round, David is pretty much full force dominating, kicking Martine's ass.
He's totally fine.
And Frank is not happy. But then round 2, Martine does make a bit of a comeback. Definitely would have been ruled for him if the judges had to be consulted. But by round, and then like it had been so long since I had seen this one. I'm like, are they going to do like the Rocky gimmick where we kind of have a montage to get to like the later rounds?
Yeah.
But no, because round 3 starts and not soon after we get a freaking ref bump.
Oh, Vince Russo, shit.
Get a ref bump.
You son of a bitch.
The fight goes out of the ring. They're in the crowd at this point, and now Frank is like, oh shit. Get the girl, Pete. Let's get the hell out of here. So they make an exit, but Marcos is like, hey, David, they're taking Isabella. And we get a bit of a standoff where Pete kind of is like, you know what? There are so many of these. What is so special about this Isabella? We don't need her. Let's get the hell out of here.
You don't even know her. You just met her.
Right. So they take off, and that seemed a bit odd. And again, I had forgotten some of this movie. So I'm like they're not just gonna that's not gonna be it. Like Frank just doesn't get to run away, right, Chad? Like, how?
Yeah.
He can't just run away. But then they're like, we're gonna send you off to school, to this orphanage. You're gonna be taken care of. We're gonna go home.
Yeah.
And it seems like, okay, is this really how it's gonna wrap up?
Thankfully, no.
Right. Because then it's like, wait a minute. Did you know there's like a bunch of girls being held at Frank's place? What the that's it. Now we get some unfinished business, and they show back up, and then Frank's like, what the hell more do you want from me? I've lost everything. He's lost everything except his girls. And Frank's like, hey, Pete, why don't you kill this motherfucker? But Pete, David talks some sense into like, why are you backing this loser?
Yeah.
So Pete turns on him, as bad guys often do. David goes to free the girls. Frank decides, all right, I'm going to have to take care of this myself. But you can't take on the light heavyweight kickboxing champion of the world.
Not a chance, bro.
But you know what, Chris? He has a hidden piano gun. And who doesn't, really?
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, if you have a piano, you may as well put a gun in there just in case, right?
Yeah, I mean, you want to have firearms set all around the house in case any trouble breaks out.
Right.
And can I mention that out of all the moves for them to pick for Sasha Mitchell's finishing move or whatever, that spinning knee, that was as the kids say, that was pretty weak sauce.
Is that what the kids say? When did they say that? In 2012 or something?
Oh.
The last time I was paying attention.
All right. 2011. So yeah,
If Chad's writing articles in 1997, then we'll go with 2011.
okay, he was. He was, and I didn't even know him yet. But he was writing articles. So yeah, but you know what happens then is we get Marcos and the frickin' Switchblade, Chad Cruz. Marcos again, as you said, MVP of this movie.
The M fucking VP, the guy who's the child, the small person who's never he's never wavered. He's never been slow to act. He's always been at the front on the front lines. He's always tried to use himself as much as possible. I want to be involved. I want to do this. I want to go in with you. I want to go do this. I don't want to wait the car. I want to go do this. And now finally, thank goodness, Marcos is there with that fucking switchblade, and he stabs that son of a bitch Frank right in his chest.
Multiple times.
And he twists it.
Yeah.
And the blood seeps out.
All over his hands. Yeah.
And Marcos looks down at his hand covered in blood, and he says, "It doesn't feel like I thought it would feel."
Right. And Xian warned him about that earlier in the movie when he was all gung-ho about killing whoever took his sister. We get the police sergeant back. We see him like wiping the blade off and then throwing it in the brush behind him. And it's like, oh, no murder weapon, no murder. It's usually no body, no murder. It's like that's usually what, like, well, we can't call it a murder if we don't even have a dead body. But things are different in Rio.
To be fair, David and Xian killed 7 guards at that last house, so and they never said shit.
No, they sure didn't. And so like, hey, I can take you to the airport. And they're like, oh, I think we missed the last flight out. Oh, well, we'll just have a bunch of beers while we wait. So
just drink beer for 23 hours. My guy.
That sounds like a Chad Cruz day. If I've ever heard one. So there we have it, gentlemen. That's it. The end credits. Chris, your final Kickboxer 3 thoughts.
You know, it's a fun movie. It gets a little goofy by making David Sloan kind of be this, G.I. Joe-ish type hero, this badass with guns that automatically knows how to, I will give him credit for this. This was not your typical just grab a gun, pray and spray, start shooting everything down. If you notice, every time he knocked someone out when they were in Bronco's house, he was actually checking the clip to see how many bullets were left.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually, I'll give them credit for that one. It's not as good as Kickboxer 1 or 2. I still enjoy it, but, it obviously, for a lot of the reasons that we touched on in this podcast, didn't feel like a Kickboxer movie. And, the funny thing is that, as you'll talk about towards the end of the podcast, when you start announcing things, this is not even the goofiest that the series gets.
No. We got another turn we could make. Chad Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, Kickboxer 3, The Art of War, is special. It's different. It takes things in a different way for the Kickboxer series. And maybe it takes it and it just never comes back. But I will say a couple things, right? So Sasha Mitchell looks pretty jacked, right?
Yeah.
He's pretty big in this one. He's kind of a fucking goofball, which I don't appreciate. But I would like to do something that I haven't done in a minute, and I'd like to rebook something real quick.
Please do. Please. I mean, people, okay. This is part of why people were asking about you.
Okay, super. So I'm just going to rebook this finale here. So we're going to let me take you back a few minutes, and we're going to go back to after the fight. Hey, they've still got girls there. We need to rescue them. So they go there. Pete's not going to turn on Frank and fucking point his gun at him. They're going to have to take out Armando Pete. Armando Pete is no longer, he's gone, right? He's dead. We killed him. Now it's just Frank. So Frank he seems like he's accepted that he's lost. David's beat me. Xian's beat me. These guys have beaten me. But if you remember, Frank showed up to Rio with $500 in his pocket. And look what he has now. Frank didn't come there with nothing. Frank came there with a very special set of skills. So Frank's going to pop his shirt off and say, I showed up here with $500. but I earned my way to the top. And he's a fucking badass, right? He fought his way to the top. So now Frank and David have a nice little scuffle. This is the final fight. Not Martine, who was a fucking pussy. Frank was a badass, old school badass. You know what I mean? Like he's got, like does he have a gun in the piano? No, he's got some fucking machete or some shit. Like he's gonna like he's fighting dirty. Like, he was fighting on the streets. He had $500, and look where he is now. So I wanted to see Frank do something, and not just be a sniveling pussy at the end. But that's my rebooking. Of course, David wins, and we get the happy ending, whatever. But all in
I
all,
also wonder what people were thinking at the video store when they saw the cover of this. And, it's a kickboxer movie, and the main image is of Sasha Mitchell sneering and holding a gun.
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
At this point, like,
or what the people who bought the DVD thought when they're like, "Where's Michael Worth? I was told he was in this movie."
I was told Big Mike was here. It is strange. It's a strange film, and it doesn't really feel right at any point during the movie.
Right. I would just wanted to say that, like, the whole Martine, like, that is really an unresolved fight. And like, if you were just going to make another sequel, which they did, but if you were going to make another sequel that kind of was a direct sequel to this, I think you could have brought Martine back, have some sort of rematch to rehabilitate Martine's character.
The problem with my problem with Martine is he's only a bad guy because of his collaboration with Frank.
Right.
He's just a fucking asshole who fights.
Right. And maybe they would do a team up. Like, hey man, I didn't know that what Frank was into.
Yeah.
Maybe like Sasha could become, or David could become his trainer or something. Like, I want to go for who the fuck knows.
And really, it's kind of
it could have been more of a pure kickboxing movie again. Go back to where it started, but no.
It's like the Scott Adkins
Kickboxer 4 would have been more like American Kickboxer 2 with the team up.
American Kickboxer 1 and 2. Those are blurs in my brain as well. Number one, the movie was called American Kickboxer 1. You arrogant sons of bitches. What do you even think that you might have a 2? That you're putting a 1? Who puts a 1 at the end of their title?
No. The big red 1, right?
Right, but that...
I mean, to be fair, some of these movies were filmed back to back.
Yeah, but American
I don't believe those two were.
No, they have nothing to do. There is a sequel to American Kickboxer 1, but it is an American Kickboxer 2! It's some kind of Sun movie. I don't fucking know.
I think I used to wrestle with American Kickboxer 2.
Yeah, you did. You surely did. God damn, you did. All right. The world we live in. Okay, folks, that was Kickboxer 3, The Art of War. A very different take on the Kickboxer franchise, but boy, as Chris said, we are going. Then the Kickboxer franchise takes a little time off, but it then goes into the Puniverse.
Oof.
And that is where we are going to head for our next episode next week. We are going to be talking Kickboxer 4, The Aggressor, directed by Albert Pune. Sasha Mitchell's back. Tong Po is kind of back.
Sort of.
We get Lando, our good friend Brad Thornton. It's a very different. We find out a lot has gone on in the world of David Sloan since we last saw him, and we'll get into that. Of course, it will be August. It will be Actionversary, and Albert Pune has been a big part of Actionversary in the past, and he will be back with it with us next week. Kickboxer for the Aggressor. Of course, social media at Bulletproof Pod on X and Blue Sky, and at Bulletproof Action on Instagram and Facebook. Our YouTube channel is there. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all that stuff. Sometimes things blow up on the YouTube channel. We want to thank you guys for checking out the podcast on the YouTube channel. Chad Cruz, since it's so rare we get to hear from you, anything else you want to say to the adoring public that has been asking about you?
You know, it feels good to be back, Brain. I love talking with you and Chris, and talking about movies that we all love or hate or we're lukewarm on.
Right.
But the point is that we talk and we share fellowship, right?
Right.
We have these conversations, and we want to have more conversations. Like if you're listening, if send us a message on Facebook or Twitter or whatever the fuck, Blue Sky. I don't know what Blue Sky is. Send us something on whatever those things are,
Yeah.
and let's talk about some movies because that's fun. You know what I mean? Like we fight about things all the time, but it shouldn't be hard to find a common ground. And our common ground is action movies. So send us a message if you got a movie. Everybody's got like a couple of movies like in their back pocket that none of their friends have seen. Like those are the ones we want. We want to watch them. We want to talk about them. We want to shit on them, or we want to praise them. So that's the fun part of this journey. So join us on this journey and let's have some fun.
Good journey.
Good journey to you.
Toyman, you bald bastard. What do you have for us?
I appreciate you saying good journey, since after the big 6-second teaser trailer of Masters of the Universe hit, I got my requisite fuck Orko text from you.
That's right.
So thank you for making a positive reference. But other than that, Actionversary is upon us.
Oh,
Obviously, you
it's
can
coming.
look out for some No Surrender cinemas coming your way. I think I've got a little PM on the docket.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps some essential episodes. And then as far as what is already there, we mentioned the Fantastic Four, and then prior to that, it was a very different four from the Fantastic Four. It was the four Shaolin Challengers. Those are the two most recent No Surrender cinemas. So go and check those out. And like Chad said, check out the YouTube channel. Podcast is obviously visibly available wherever you like to listen to your podcasts, but I know a lot of people tend to like to make their own playlists or throw on YouTube for the ease of it. And so, it's Kickboxer 2, one of our most popular ones up there. The Rambo podcast, First Blood 2, Part 2, blowing up quite well in recent weeks. So let's see where Actionversary takes us on the old YouTube channel.
And I do want to mention Actionversary. Already so much work being done there. I want to thank Big Mike Leader for sending some stuff over already. Sean Cavender working very hard on his very special guest post that will be covering Bruceploitation from A to Z.
Wait, you made fun of, or you didn't make fun of, but you brought up Toyman's just eating up all this content.
Yeah.
Sean Cavender might watch 50 movies a day.
He might. I don't know how he does it either. There's a couple
Dear
people
God.
that Sean is another. Yeah. If he's not watching movies, he's hunting them down.
I wonder if do you guys watch movies at like 10x speed or something? Is that how you suck up content?
I don't.
Usually when I'm working,
I will have something my theory. On. Of course. Here's my theory. There's TV's on. He's got a TV in the bathroom. Quotes. He's taking a goddamn shit. He's watching Three's Company. Go on.
Okay.
Well, I leave that type of stuff on too. But no, I start working very early in the morning, sometimes as early as 7 a.m. And once I settle in, if I'm not listening to a podcast, I am watching a movie. So it is not out of the realm of possibility for me to squeeze in a couple of movies as background noise in the afternoon. Now, normally in the afternoon, they'll usually be movies that I've seen. So if it's something that we're going to talk about that I haven't seen in a while, or just something that pops up on Tubi or YouTube or Netflix or whatever, I'll throw it on in the background. But if it's after work and I want to relax and it's a crappy day out or no errands have to be done, if the laundry's put away, if the dishes are put away, then I'll be like, hey, you know what? I haven't seen this movie. Or you know what? This would make a good No Surrender cinema. And I'll watch it. And especially with Zach being old enough now to partake in a lot of the films that we talk about, I'll be like, hey, bud, I'm going to watch this old Kung Fu movie. Want to come and watch it and see how awesome Barry Chan is? Yes, I certainly do.
God damn.
And he'll join me for that. He joined me for TC 2000. I mentioned that when we talked about TC 2000. It was the first time he got to watch that. So now the action world has led to some family viewing. So, I get the input from my 10-year-old on some of the stuff that I write about and that we talk about.
Hell yeah.
Why? We almost made it without a goddamn Barry Chan reference on this program.
And since Ryan Campbell is not here, Ryan, we miss you. We love you. Gary Robbins.
I mentioned him earlier. If you weren't, obviously you weren't paying attention.
Dolph
I
Lundgren.
was paying attention, but maybe that was one of the points where we were all trying to kind of like stumble all over each other.
It was not. You're just a bald bastard. Listen now, folks. So Actionversary, yeah. People working on stuff already. I love that. Again, we're going to kick it all off. World's Most Dangerous. Check it out. One of my favorite things to write. Not one of the most popular things, but by God, I'm going to just keep writing them until they become popular. But yeah, we got that. And Chad Cruz has got something special for Actionversary.
I'm gonna fucking
Oh,
get up all. I'm gonna get all up in this bitch.
Yeah, he'll be a part of it as well. So yeah, which is only fitting. I mean, you're the co-founder of the entire empire, so you have to be a part of the Actionversary month at least. And hopefully, we'll have you back here more regularly as well.
Yeah, I'm trying.
If you're brave enough to watch Kickboxer 4.
Baseball season's over.
There you go.
Be back.
We'll get more Chad Cruz content, hopefully. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof Podcast.